Hello family. We are going to proceed to a topic concerning the countries where you can live very happy. So thank you for subscribing to our channel, and if you like the video, don't forget to like and share it. Let's go. Each year, the United Nations Sustainable Development Solutions Network publishes the World Happiness Report, a ranking of the countries in which people are happiest. For this study, 7 points are studied in 156 countries: compassion, freedom, generosity, honesty, health, social protections and good governance. France the 24th place in 2020. In 2016, Denmark took first place in the ranking. In 2017 it was Norway, and Finland in 2018. Do you know the country where we live the happiest in 2019? Get ready to set sail for the far north. El Dorado. Australia. The endless expanses, unspoiled natural landscapes and the unique fauna of this continent make many travelers dream. Its big cities like Sydney or Melbourne are attracting more and more expatriates who see it as a true El Dorado on the other side of the world. And it is clear that they are right, since Australia climbs to 10th place in the ranking of the countries where the inhabitants are the happiest. Scandinavian sweetness. Sweden. Swedes have one of the best life expectancies in Europe as well as one of the highest GDP per capita. These two important criteria allow them to be counted among the happiest citizens in the world. The influence of the capital, Stockholm, is also very great. For example, the city was voted the first green capital in Europe thanks to its many environmental initiatives such as the reduction of its CO2 emissions. Treasure of the Pacific. New Zealand. New Zealand is one of the most naturally preserved countries in the world. White sand beaches rub shoulders with mountains with eternal snows and lush forests, in an incredible setting shaped by the Pacific. Who wouldn't dream of putting down their suitcases there? All the more so as New Zealand has climbed to 8th place in the ranking of the countries where we live the happiest. The real American dream. Canada. It is the only country in the Americas to lead the rankings. With a GDP ranked among the 10 highest in the world, Canadians live long and happy lives since their life expectancy is among the best. Canada, a country with many facets, French or English, has all the qualities to lead a serene life, in the heart of pampered nature, and close to large cities that are still dynamic such as Vancouver or Quebec. Bicycle happiness. The Netherlands. An open and tolerant policy, ecological cities where it is good to travel by bike like Maastricht, Rotterdam or beautiful Amsterdam. This is the recipe for Dutch happiness. It is in the capital of the Netherlands that one takes the pulse of the country, during the days pedaling along the canals or during its frenzied evenings. And it is not the capricious weather that will prevent the Dutch from being among the happiest in the world. Life in green. Switzerland. In view of its different specialties, we quickly understand why Switzerland can be considered the land of happiness. Chocolate, fondue and Gruyere act on morale on a daily basis. Its environment also contributes to the well-being of its inhabitants. Cities on a human scale, Lausanne, Geneva, mountain pastures, lakes and thermal baths are part of the decor. Living in Switzerland means breathing the fresh air and going green in a country where ecology is one of the priorities. In the land of fjords. Iceland. The cold does not seem to be a barrier to happiness since Icelanders are the 4th happiest population in the world. Young and dynamic, Iceland attracts many expatriates who come to discover the far north every year. 10% of the island is covered with ice and there is the largest glacier in Europe, the Vatnajökull. Mother Nature opens her arms here, and her landscapes, as spectacular as they are unexpected, bear witness to the strength of its elements. Land of Hygge. Denmark. Do you know what hygge is? This way of life straight from Denmark is one of the main reasons for the happiness of the inhabitants. Very Epicureans, the Danes cultivate the art of having fun on a daily basis. Hygge is a state of mind based on optimism, friendliness and reassurance. During the coldest days of the year, we create a sweet cocoon at home where sweets, hot drinks and blankets hold a primordial place. And that is very hygge. Everyday well-being. Norway. Ranked first in 2017, Norway is this year in 2nd place. How to explain this happiness which seems to animate the Norwegians? Economic prosperity, of course. But more than that, it is also the feeling of security that reassures them. Social security here is irreproachable, and education completely free. More than the state, nature even seems to cajole them by illuminating its sky with the northern lights or the midnight sun. A Nordic paradise. Finland. It is no surprise that we find a Nordic country at the top of the podium. Finland offers serenity and security to its inhabitants. It stands out from the rest of the ranking nations, in particular from the point of view of the happiness of immigrants who consider their standard of living as good as that of the Finns. With freedom of expression respected and equality between all inhabitants, Finland is establishing itself as the country of happiness this year.
Hello family. We are going to proceed to a topic concerning 19 relationship pieces of advice, which you can safely turn a deaf ear to. So thank you for subscribing to our channel. And if you like the video, don't forget to like and share it. Let's go. When you begin dating someone, you are extremely cautious as you do not want to make any of the mistakes you did in your past relationships. You want this one to last. It's good to want that and to work towards achieving it. But at the same time, it's all the more crucial that you simply let things be and not overthink or overdo. If you pay heed to and follow every dating and relationship advice coming your way, you might actually wreck your happy-going relationship and bring it to a close. You need to be capable of making a distinction between the advice you have to get to your head and the ones that you can let go past your ears. We have put down a list of 25 such tips you can stop taking seriously without a second thought. Without any more delay, let's check out now. You should end it. You are the one in it. You know whether you can fight the challenging ups and downs and stay together or not. Your friends' or father's opinion doesn't matter. Love hurts. Love is supposed to be the best feeling. Your mind and body are in harmony when you are in love. The thought of meeting your partner fills you with euphoria, and there is a smile on your face every morning. If your relationship has you all cranky and moody, then ending it is always better than making yourself suffer. 20 is the apt age to tie the knot. It is no shocker why people advise you to be settled down by the time you reach the 30s. It is the phase when you have a high libido and have also reached financial stability. On the other hand, higher age can make it harder to conceive. But if you haven't found the one yet, it's for your best that you wait instead of saying "I do" half-heartedly. Checking their phone is your right. Nobody fancies being spied on. And no, it's not casual or fine for you to take your partner's phone to read their conversations with others. They may not say anything to you initially, but it does hurt to learn that you are not being trusted and your words are not being relied upon. Breakup must follow cheating. When you cheat your loved one, you do much more than that. You break their trust, their faith, lie to them, hide your feelings, and shatter their heart. Wanting to part ways with that person may seem like the right choice. But, before doing it, be assured that that's what you wish for and you're not pleading with your heart to give them a second chance. Opposites attract. While this theory in physics is backed by countless experiments and observations, there is no such backing when it comes to your love life. It is possible for two people who are poles apart to fall madly in love with each other, and, at the same time, it does happen that two minds having everything in common make for great partners. Post-marriage, your looks can be the least of your concern. Eating healthy to maintain your shape and keeping yourself well-groomed is something people of every age have to do irrespective of whether they are single, dating, or married. You looking your best would not just keep your partner hooked onto you, but it will also motivate them to take care of their own appearance.
No arguments means excellent chemistry. If two people are talking to one another on an everyday basis, it's absolutely normal for them to have arguments and alterations every now and then. It's always good to speak out instead of keeping it buried in your mind. It is a false notion that never arguing or fighting will make your relationship stronger. Keeping finances separate is always better. Keeping your finances separate only means that, in the back of your head, you are keeping yourself ready for a breakup. Why else would you want that? If you are committed to your relationship, you would want to merge your accounts. So you use your total household income wisely and invest smartly.
The one earning more should pay each time. No matter how much money one makes, barring few exceptions, we never feel it so much that we can recklessly and lavishly go about spending it. Everyone loves their hard-earned money and desires to save it. So, even if you are the lesser earning one, always offer to split the bill or to pay once in a while. The guy has to the one paying every bill. But why? Why does it have to be the guy who pays bills? Why can't you? You both work, you both make money. Gone are the days when men used to be the breadwinners and women's responsibilities remained confined to doing household chores. Girls, please, if you don't want to let this one go, you have to stop being so stingy and start shelling out some of your own earnings. Age is nothing but a number. The people of this day and age are more accepting than ever before. Hence, we aren't surprised when we see couples with significant age differences giving us some major relationship goals. It isn't really a big deal if you want to date someone older than you because they seem more mature and understanding. But be ready to pay the price, as it won't be as easy it could have been had they been your age. Children will bring you two closer. If you are in a troubled relationship, the worst you could do is bringing children into your life. Raising children is no cakewalk. So, until you both are at accord and undeniably ready, don't even give conceiving a thought. It will make things even worse. Time can heal any wound. Not all wounds can be healed by time. If that were the case, then every older couple you come across must be happy and contented with their lives. But it isn't so, right? Your partner might commit an unforgivable mistake. In such a circumstance, it is fine for you to break up and get on with your life. You can change him or her. Firstly, no person on this planet is perfect. Everyone has some good qualities and certain bad attributes. When you are truly in love with someone, you love and adore all the good and all the bad in them. Secondly, it is nearly impossible that you'll ever find someone who will be every bit like the person you imagined yourself settling down with. So, quit trying to mold your partner into any other person. That will be an attempt you'll never be able to succeed in. Always make up before going to bed. It's never a bad idea actually to talk it out and end fights before dozing off. Doing that ensures you are not grumpy and tight-lipped the next morning. However, there could be some fights that drain or hurt you to an extent that you aren't comfortable even talking to your partner. In such a case, simply relax and take your time. There is no rush. If your partner loves you, they won't end it with you because of you not talking to them for a day or two. Soulmates do exist. What are soulmates exactly? And how can one tell if someone is or isn't your soulmate? The fact is that such a thing doesn't exist. Two people meet, they like one another, which grows into love, care, concern, and a strong desire to want that person in your life forever. Look for someone with same hobbies. We are sure you don't go around falling in love with every other person you meet. It's not easy for two people to connect with each other and develop a bond. Imagine how difficult you would make it if you already have a set of things you wish your future partner liked doing in their free time. It is just okay if the two of you have distinct hobbies. It will only give you some alone time or time to socialize with others. Don't be the one making the first move. If you have been crushing on someone for quite some time, then there is nothing wrong in asking them out. You can't just keep waiting for them to make the first move. It will make you irritated, unsettled, and desperate. Have a little courage and trust your instincts. See you next video. Good luck and have a nice time. Hello family. We are going to proceed to a topic concerning 17 celebrities with the most divorces and marriages. So thank you for subscribing to our channel, and if you like the video, don't forget to like and share it. So, it's no secret that celebrities get married and divorced quite often. They maintain a high profile and therefore have the world interested in all the details of their love life. But that also means they have the world watching when they get divorced. Some celebrities have even called it quits less than a year after saying, "I do." While there are several celebrities who have been through the cycle of marriage and divorce many times, who has actually done it the most? Number 1. Zsa Zsa Gabor, 9 marriages. The actress and socialite made it from the stage in Vienna to Hollywood. She was in John Huston's Moulin Rouge, which was nominated for 2 Academy Awards. After the film, she bounced around and made appearances on multiple television shows, meeting future husbands along the way. The first was Turkish politician Burhan Belci, who she was married to from 1937 to 1941. She then went to the United States where she met Conrad Hilton, whom she married in 1942. According to Zsa Zsa Gabor's autobiography, she was raped by her husband and got pregnant with her daughter Francesca. The two later divorced in 1947. Her third marriage was with George Sanders in 1949, whom she later divorced in 1954. Sanders later married her sister, Magda, despite Gabor according to Vanity Fair. Number 2. Jennifer O'Neill, 9 marriages. The actress first walked down the aisle in 1965 with IBM executive Dean Rossiter when she was 17 years old. They had one child together but eventually divorced in 1971. She then married Joseph Koster from 1972 to 1974. Then she was married to Nick DeNoia from 1975 to 1976. In 1978, she married Jeff Barry, but it ended in divorce in 1979. The next husband was John Lederer, who she married in 1979 and divorced in 1983. She went on to marry Richard Allen Brown in 1986. They had a child together before divorcing in 1989. She then married Neil L. Bonin in 1992, but the marriage was annulled a year later. Jennifer O'Neill married her ex, Richard Allen Brown, once more in 1993 before divorcing him yet again in 1996. Number 3. Lana Turner, 8 marriages. The actress' most famous role is probably her part in Imitation of Life. In the film, she played Laura Meredith, a woman who has a black mother, but passes as white. The character also dreams of becoming a Broadway actress one day. The MGM actress did more movies including Peyton Place, for which she was nominated for an Oscar for Best Actress in a Leading Role. However, Turner was as good at falling in and out of love as she was at acting on screen. The actress was married 8 times. The first marriage was to composer and actor Artie Shaw. The two met in 1939 and eloped on their first date. They got married in Las Vegas at 4 a.m. the next day. The relationship only lasted for 4 months and they were officially divorced a year later, according to The Telegraph. Number 4. Larry King, 8 marriages. The television and radio host has won 2 Peabody Awards and has become a household name for his work. His last gig was on Larry King Live for CNN, where he interviewed controversial guests. He headlined the show from 1985 until he stepped down in 2010. Some people probably didn't know that the respected host also walked down the aisle many times. His first marriage was to his high school sweetheart, Frida Miller, in 1951. However, they were 18 and their parents disapproved of the relationship, forcing them to annul the marriage a year later. He went on to marry Annette Kay in 1961, but got divorced in the same year. However, she got pregnant with his son, who he didn't meet until much later. Number 5. Mickey Rooney, 8 marriages. The actor had a pretty long career. He went from being a child actor to a successful adult star. He was nominated for an Oscar 4 times for his role in The Black Stallion, The Bold and the Brave, The Human Comedy, and Babes in Arms. Throughout his long career, the actor picked up multiple wives along the way. His first wife was Hollywood starlet Ava Gardner. They got hitched in 1942, but according to his book, Life is Too Short, his gambling and philandering led to them getting divorced a year later. He then married beauty queen Baddie Jane Phillips in 1944 and they had 2 sons. They divorced after he returned from World War II and the actor claimed they weren't compatible. He then married actress Martha Vickers in 1949 and they had 1 son before divorcing in 1951. Then there was Elaine Monken, who he tied the knot with after they met at a driving range in 1966. They, however, divorced in 1958. Number 6. Richard Pryor, 7 marriages. Richard Pryor is known for being one of the greatest comedians of all time, but he was also one of the most divorced. Pryor starred in many movies including Silver Streak, The Wiz, and more. His stand-up specials are also pretty iconic and show how brilliantly funny he was. His first marriage was to Patricia Price in 1961. It only lasted a year, but they had a son who was named after him. He then went on to marry the dancer Shelley Bonus in 1967. The two had a daughter together named Rain, but they later divorced in 1969. He then married actress Deborah Maguire in 1977, but the couple divorced the following year. Pryor married Jennifer Lee in 1981 but divorced her a year later, before moving on to Flynn Belaine in 1986, again divorcing her a year later. Pryor then remarried Belaine again in 1990 only to divorce her a second time. He then remarried Lee and was married to her until he died. Number 7. Tony Curtis, 6 marriages. The actor has had a long career and an interesting journey in regard to his love life. His first wife was Psycho star Janet Leigh, but they divorced in 1962 after 11 years of marriage and 2 kids. The split reportedly happened because Tony Curtis was having an affair with Christine Kaufman, who he later married. Curtis and Kaufman got divorced in 1968, so Curtis moved on, marrying Leslie Allen later that year. Curtis and Allen had 2 sons before getting divorced in 1982. His 4th wife was Andrea Savio, but the relationship ended in divorce in 1992. His 5th wife was Lisa Deutsch, who he married in 1993, a marriage that only lasted a year. Curtis's last marriage was to Jill Vandenberg Curtis, who he married in 1998. The two stayed married until he died in 2010. Number 8. Rue McClanahan, 6 marriages. You know her as Maude on The Golden Girls, a character who often casually dated. In real life, the actress has had several marriages and divorces. Her first marriage was to Tom Bish in 1958 and they had a child together, but the marriage only lasted a year. She then moved on to Norman Hart Wegg in 1959 and the relationship ended in divorce in 1961. Her third husband was Peter DeMaio, who married her in 1964. The two divorced in 1971. Her fourth husband was Gussie Sam Fisher, who she married in 1976, but that relationship also ended in divorce. The actress went on to write a book called My First Five Husbands and the Ones Who Got Away. However, she did marry again, this time to Mara Wilson in 1997. They stayed married until she died in 2010. Number 9. James Cameron, 5 marriages. The Aliens director has many amazing movies on his resume, but he has also had a lot of wives. Sharon Williams was the first woman who was married to him. They were married from 1978 to 1984. Gail Ann Hurd was the second, and the two remained married from 1985 to 1989. His third wife was Zero Dark 30 director Kathryn Bigelow, who married him from 1989 to 1991. Fourth was actress Linda Hamilton from 1997 to 1999. His last marriage was to Susie Amos, who married him in 2000. The two are still making it work. Number 10. George Foreman, 5 marriages. The Olympic gold medalist boxer has also walked down the aisle many times. It all started with Adrian Calhoun, who was married to him from 1971 to 1974. Next was Cynthia Lewis, the couple was married from 1977 to 1979. Third was Sharon Goodson, who stayed married to him from 1981 to 1982. Andrea Skeet then went on to marry George Foreman from 1982 to 1985. His last marriage was to Mary Joan Martelli, who he has been married to since 1985. So, in this case, it looks like the 5th time is the charm. The boxer also happens to have 11 children. Number 11. Joan Collins, 5 marriages. The Dynasty star has also tried to find love multiple times. Joan Collins' first marriage was to Maxwell Reed from 1952 to 1956. Her second was to Anthony Newley from 1963 to 1971. Her third was to Ronald S. Cass from 1972 to 1983. And her fourth was to Peter Home from 1985 to 1987. Collins' 5th marriage is still going strong. She tied the knot with Percy Gibson in 2002. So how is married life treating her now? Percy is wonderful. He's my soulmate. It is my 5th marriage and my happiest and last, the actress said according to the Mirror. That doesn't mean we don't bicker, but we're understanding of each other. Number 12. Kenny Rogers, 5 marriages. The country singer and songwriter also has tried to make marriage work 5 times. His first marriage was to Janice Gordon from 1958 to 1961. They had 1 child together. The second was with Gene Rogers from 1950 to 1963. The third was with Margot Anderson from 1964 to 1976, and the couple had a child together. His 4th marriage was to Marianne Gordon, who also had a child with him. That divorce settlement was notoriously huge, with Gordon getting $60 million. But if you ask the singer, he would say the settlement was justified. But Marianne really did deserve the $60 million because she is a great girl and we had a perfect marriage for 15 years, he said according to Independent. Number 13. Rita Hayworth, 5 marriages. The Gilda star first got married to Edward Charles Johnson in 1937 when she was 18 years old. He was an older oilman and she divorced him in 1942, claiming that he treated her like a child. A year later, she married Orson Welles and they had a child together before divorcing in 1947. She then went on to become royalty. Rita Hayworth married Prince Ali Khan in 1948 and they lived in Switzerland. They had a child named Princess Yasmin, but things took a turn when there were reports that Khan was seen with other women. After returning to the United States, she divorced the prince in 1953. Hayworth married singer Dick Haymes in 1953. He reportedly took financial advantage of her and her memory started deteriorating during this time. Number 14. Dennis Hopper, 5 marriages. The 2-time Academy Award nominee has also made it to the chapel 5 times. His first marriage was to Brooke Hayward in 1961. They had a daughter, then divorced in 1969. He then moved on to Michelle Phillips in 1970, but divorced her after 9 days of marriage. Dennis Hopper then got married to Daria Halprin in 1972 until 1976. Next, he married Catherine LaNasa in 1989 and had a child with her before divorcing her in 1992. His last marriage was to Victoria Duffy in 1996, and the two had a daughter together. Hopper, however, got a restraining order against her in 2010 around the time they separated. He claimed Duffy's mother told me in November of 2009 that I should simply leave the bulk of my property to Victoria as I was going to die soon. I found this statement distressing, inappropriate, bizarre, and disturbing. Meanwhile, Duffy claimed Hopper repeatedly tried to kill her. Number 15. Billy Bob Thornton, 5 marriages. The Oscar winner was first married to Melissa Lee Gatlin from 1978 to 1980, breathing B equals 500. His second marriage was to Days of Our Lives actress Tori Lawrence from 1986 to 1988, breathing B equals 500. He then moved on to Cynthia Williams, who he got hitched to in 1990 and divorced 2 years later. His next union was with Playboy playmate Pietra Dawn Cherniak from 1993 to 1997. They had 2 children, breathing B equals 500. His fifth marriage was his most famous. Breathing B equals 500. He wed Angelina Jolie while she was one of Hollywood's hottest actresses. Breathing B equals 500. The couple showed their love for each other in unique ways, like wearing a vial of each other's blood around their neck. Breathing B equals 500. They were married from 2000 to 2003. Number 16. Barbara Walters, 4 marriages. The broadcast journalist had multiple loves in her life. Her first husband was Robert Henry Katz, who married her in 1955, but the marriage was annulled in 1957. She then married Lee Guber in 1963 and got divorced in 1976. Barbara Walters' third and fourth husband happened to be the same person. She married Merv Anderson in 1981 and they divorced in 1984. They then gave marriage a second shot, marrying in 1986 and divorcing again in 1992. So why did the journalist get married so many times? I don't think that I was very good at marriage, she said according to ABC News. It may be that my career was just too important. It may have been that I was a difficult person to be married to, and I just seemed to be better alone. I'm not lonely, I'm alone. Number 17. Louis Armstrong, 4 marriages. The jazz legend had many wives over his lifetime. Louis Armstrong's first marriage was to Daisy Parker from 1918 to 1923. His second was to jazz pianist Lil Hardin Armstrong from 1924 to 1938. His third marriage was to Alpha Smith from 1938 to 1942. And his last was to Lucille Wilson, who tied the knot with Armstrong in 1942 and was married to him until his death in 1971. See you next video. Good luck and have a nice time.
Hello family. This year especially with spring, the most inspiring of the seasons. So thank you for subscribing to our channel, and if you like the video, don't forget to like and share it. Spring is the time of hope. Things will get better after they get worse. The river will flow again after freezing. Ernest Hemingway wrote about spring in A Movable Feast. Change is coming and everything will be better. Without a doubt, spring is the deepest of the seasons in terms of its meaning, promise, inspiration and experiences. It is the time of new beginnings and ideas popping up from the ground, like the return of grass, daffodils and cherry trees. In her diary, written under an even more extreme and terrifying closure, Anne Frank advised those who could, go out into the countryside, enjoy the sun and all that nature has to offer. Go outside and try to regain happiness inside. Think of all the beauty of yourself and everything around you and be happy. Passover is a spring holiday that celebrates the brightness that follows the dark days of slavery. And of course there are many personally enjoyable ways to celebrate and connect to seasons as well. Walking in nature, learning to sing or play a seasonal or holiday song, watching a seasonal or holiday movie, enjoying foods traditionally associated with the season, jelly beans, and other activities designed to deliver happiness. As you get in touch with spring's gifts, its meaning and metaphoric reminders, make it a year-round meditation. Author Wendy Pfeffer and illustrator Linda Bleck, whose A New Beginning taught me about some spring holidays, created 4 good children's books about the equinoxes and solstices. Some cultures and traditions, the beginning of spring is the beginning of the new year. It's a good time to draw a line in the sand and renew long-term goals that you may have already missed. It's time to declare a new beginning. Because spring is as old as the planet, ancient religious traditions have evolved around its meaning. Spring is reborn after the long death of winter, and traditional cultures did not take for granted the return of food and the best weather. They prayed for it. In Russia, Maslenitsa's spring break, also known as Pancake Week, is a sunny festival with singing, dancing, hot drinks, bells, bonfires and lots of panellets. Easter is a spring festival that celebrates the brilliance that follows the dark days of slavery. And the Holy Indian holidays brings winter closer to Technicolor technology. Noticing and celebrating what happens with time, temperature, animals, trees, and the general environment can help us stay more focused and connected. This is what they do or were designed to do this holiday. They bring us together around things we all value religiously and secularly: life, new beginnings, love, generosity, peace. And of course, there are many fun ways to celebrate and connect to the seasons as well. Walking in nature, learning to sing or play a seasonal or holiday song, watching a seasonal or holiday movie, enjoying foods traditionally associated with the season, jellies, and other activities designed to provide happiness. It took me a year to read it so I could focus on each month's chapter at the right time. Author Wendy Pfeffer and illustrator Linda Bleck, who taught me A New Beginning, Some Spring Break, created 4 good children's books about the equinoxes and solstices. Each season has its touchstones for the mind and body, many of which you already enjoy, perhaps without realizing it. But in the spring, let yourself get out of the cocoon. Open these windows. Go out, plant something, fly a kite, ride a bike, have a picnic. We have endured the darkness and we must play in the light.
Hello family. We are going to proceed to a topic concerning 15 impossible resolutions to keep. So thank you for subscribing to our channel, and if you like the video, don't forget to like and share it. Let's go. With the new year come new resolutions. It's that time of the year when people are eager to get going and doing something new. But more often than not, many of those who set resolutions either achieve those resolutions a few years later or they give up in the first few weeks or even months. That's not to say that resolutions are impossible, but it's mostly the way people go about setting them. Below are some of the difficult resolutions to be setting, but also some tips to consider when going about these resolutions. Number 1. Goals you don't think you'll ever achieve. It was Henry Ford who said, "Whether you think you can, or you think you can't, you're right." That statement has a lot of truth to it when you consider motivation. And of course, doubt. If you lack confidence in yourself that you'll achieve anything, how in the world do you expect yourself to get there? When we have confidence in ourselves, for whatever reason that may be, we do eventually come out on top. Number 2. Stuff you don't want to change. One of the keys to a lasting change is our willingness to do so. No matter how much external motivation we may have, we often turn back to the way things were if we're not ready or don't want to change. This applies to anything in our lives. If you want to stop drinking, smoking, or be healthier or wealthier, you'll need to be committed to those changes. You'll need to be committed to the new you that you want to be achieving. Number 3. Making more money. Another resolution people are closely affiliated with is making more money. The problem with this resolution is that salaries are slow in getting increases. The same goes for hourly wages. Sure, some places may get a few bumps in wages or salary, but it's not a significant long-term change. Instead, it's smarter to consider one or both of these options. Either look for ways to save more money. You can do this by looking at spending habits and finding what habits you can cut or make changes, so you keep more money. Or you can look for new revenue streams. Set up a side business. Pick up a hobby that makes a little bit of money on the side and work to grow it. Number 4. Having resolutions that lack immediate rewards. When we have resolutions with delayed results, we set ourselves up for more success. Sure, going for that jog in the morning does provide benefits in lowering our blood pressure. But having those long-term rewards is what keeps us going. In this example, it's those pair of pants that you loved when you were younger. Or maybe it's that top that used to fit you so well. When we are aware of the immediate rewards around us, we have things to work towards and aspire for. Number 5. Resolutions that have a weak benefit. When you have a goal, it's important to know why you're doing it in the first place. Like I said above with social pressure, that's not really a reason to pursue something. In that example, it's more like, I'm doing this because someone else is too. It's not as strong as, I'm doing this because of these reasons. When we have strong reasons for doing something, we'll find ways to do it. Not only that, but we'll pay attention to the positive changes that happen in our lives. Number 6. Getting organized. Another tough resolution to work on is being organized. While some of us push for cleaner spaces, it doesn't always mean that's organized. Even a clean space can be disruptive to some people. Instead of going out and getting bins and shelving to better organize stuff, consider your definition of organization. What is the best way for you to arrange that space, so you can make the most out of it? When you have a clearer idea of where you want everything, it saves you time from cramming things in haphazardly. Number 7. Resolutions on quitting cold turkey. The idea about cold turkey is immediately stopping that bad habit. Whether it's smoking, drinking soda, eating too much sweets, oftentimes stopping and not giving yourself any wiggle room spells failure. Why? Because a bad habit is still a habit. It's not good, but for some people they've spent years in that habit cycle. They've grown addicted and accustomed to that activity. When we tell ourselves to stop doing that, we experience withdrawals, headaches, cravings, and more. Instead of stopping immediately, look for healthy substitutes for those habits. Going back to what I said earlier, consider eating fruit when you get sugar cravings. For smoking, look to why you smoke in the first place and make gradual changes based on that. For example, if you smoke for social interaction, consider hanging out with a new crowd once a week starting out. Number 8. Setting resolutions through social pressure. At the same time, I can understand why some people would prefer to set goals alone. In some cases, people cave in and commit to something all because someone else they know is doing it. I mean, sure, that can help in some fashions, but motivation from outside forces doesn't last long. Where you get your motivation from is on you, but in order to stick to something, there needs to be internal effort and internal motivation eventually. Number 9. Not having any support in place. While some goals can be achieved solo, there is nothing wrong with having some support in other areas. From having a gym buddy to having someone ask you how things are going, those kinds of things provide benefits. Even if that person isn't directly encouraging you, asking about your progress on something can mean a big deal in getting them to do something and sticking to it. Number 10. Being happier. Everyone wants to achieve happiness in their own way, but it's not something that can happen overnight. Being happier is about shifting your mindset, and it's not as simple as flicking a switch. The reality is that we can't control our feelings at all times. What's more important as a resolution in this instance is to set a goal to do more things you enjoy doing. Or maybe being around people you want to spend more time with. Resolutions like this can bring happiness to you. Number 11. Not having clear outcomes. In addition to having a plan, it also pays to know expected outcomes. Not necessarily the finished results, but you at least want to know if you do one thing, you expect something to happen. If you work out consistently, you expect that in a week or two you'll start to lose weight, for example. Number 12. Not having a plan. All of these resolutions I've mentioned all have one thing in common: they lack a plan. As the old saying goes, fail to plan is a plan to fail. If you're looking to stick to a resolution, there needs to be planning. Set some goals around it, outline the steps you need to take. Take a few weeks to record your progress on paper. Number 13. Going to the gym more. Riding the health train for resolutions more. Another one people use is going to the gym more. It might be part of their strategy with losing weight, but it's prone for failure for various reasons. Some of it stems from execution. Whenever people start out a workout routine or do a training regimen, they often go all out. Their goal is to make the most out of their time at the gym or that exercise routine. What happens in reality is that the next day you're stiff, sore, and likely frustrated that your results were so small. In the end, most give up before they've even started. What's smarter is working at your own pace. Pick up a simple routine where the challenge is tailored to you. Number 14. Eating healthy. Another resolution similar to weight loss is eating healthy. You'll often hear people say, "I want to eat healthier," but you run into the same situation with what I mentioned above. It's too vague. What does being healthy mean to you? Instead, be specific, but also make small changes. If you are hooked to sugar foods, don't cut them entirely. Instead, gradually switch out all of the candy in your house with healthier snacks like fruit or veggies. While it might not be a massive shift immediately, it does make that resolution easier to keep. Number 15. Losing weight. This is the classic resolution that you hear time and time again. I want to lose weight this year. You probably have grown numb from hearing that at this point, and I don't blame you. After all, those who start off with this resolution are bound to fail. But as for the reasons, it's more to do with specifics. While weight loss is achievable, it's important to be more specific. How much weight do you want to lose? How are you going to achieve that? How much time do you want to give yourself to achieve that goal? Going to finer details makes it real as opposed to a vague statement. See you next video. Good luck and have a nice time. Hello family. Today we proceed to a topic concerning 20 celebrity couples who have been together the longest. So thank you for subscribing to our channel, and if you like the video, don't forget to like and share it. Let's go. Number 1. Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. These two have been getting jiggy with it since they started dating in 1994, after meeting on the set of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. They married in 1997. What does Will think is the secret? If there is a secret, I would say is that we never went into working in our relationship. He said, "We only ever worked on ourselves individually, and then presented ourselves to one another better than we were previously." After over 20 years together in the Hollywood spotlight, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith are still going strong. They'll celebrate their 22nd anniversary this December. The power couple has proven that they're a force to be reckoned with, navigating ups and downs ranging from creative collaborations to hurtful rumors, not to mention some truly questionable fashion choices in the 90s. While Will and Jada may sometimes come off as a bit unconventional, the couple doesn't shy away from honesty when it comes to their marriage. And they remain an indestructible team more than 2 decades after they first said, "I do." Take a look back on their relationship over the last 2 decades to see exactly how they make things work. Number 2. Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson. They first met on the set of Bosom Buddies and tied the knot in 1988. In an interview that makes you both roll your eyes and feel a little bit jealous, Hanks has said, "The only thing we ever argue about is who loves each other more." Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson, who recently received her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, have shared more sweet moments in their 30-year marriage than what you'd find in any rom-com. The 62-year-old actors make up one of the industry's most beloved couples. And as with the case of most stars in Tinseltown, their love story began on the set of the ABC TV series, Bosom Buddies, in the 80s. In honor of the power couple's relationship and their ability to overcome even the toughest of times, here's a look at the enduring love story of Hanks and Wilson. Number 3. Amy Adams and Darren LaGallo. After 14 years of dating and 7 years of being engaged, they finally tied the knot in May 2015. Amy Adams is one of the most recognizable actresses working today, with a career that includes 6 Oscar nominations and 2 Golden Globe wins. On September 22, she'll head to the Emmys with her first nomination, for the HBO limited series Sharp Objects. One thing that audiences may be less familiar with is Adams' marriage to longtime partner Darren LaGallo. Ahead of the Emmys, here are 5 things to know about her perennial +1. Number 4. Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi. The daytime TV hostess has been with actress de Rossi since 2004 and they married in 2008. Portia, an actress in her own right, had been a staple on Ellen's show, and never shied away from showing off her dance moves with her doting partner. De Rossi was married to documentary filmmaker Mel Metcalf, from 1996 to 1999, initially part of a plan to get a green card, though she did not go through with the plan. She said about the marriage that, "It just obviously wasn't right for me." In a 2010 interview on Good Morning America, she explained that as a young actress, she was fearful of being exposed as a lesbian. From 2001 to 2004, de Rossi dated director Francesca Gregorini, the daughter of Barbara Bach and the stepdaughter of Ringo Starr. She said that most of her family and Ally McBeal castmates did not know she was a lesbian until tabloid pictures of the couple were published. She declined to publicly discuss the relationship or her sexual orientation at the time. Number 5. Denzel and Pauletta Washington. They've been together since 1977, but Denzel had to propose to his wife 3 times before she finally agreed to marry him in 1983. Since then, she's been with him during his meteoric rise to fame. The big payoff? She got a shout-out in the Oscars from her husband. That must have been pretty sweet. It's notoriously difficult to make a marriage last in Hollywood. Looking at you for inspo, Rita and Tom, but Denzel Washington and his actress wife Pauletta are a true inspiration, having been together for 36 years. The couple celebrated that 36-year milestone on June 25. Although they've generally kept things private over the years, both have occasionally shared insights into what makes their marriage so strong. Here's a few key things to know about Pauletta and her relationship with Denzel. Number 6. Seth Rogen and Lauren Miller. Lauren Miller Rogen was born on July 24, 1982 in Lakeland, Florida, USA as Lauren Ann Miller. She is an actress and writer, known for Super Grave 2007, American Sexy Phone 2012, and Sausage Party, La Vie Privée des Aliments 2016. She has been married to Seth Rogen since October 2, 2011. These two have been together since 2004, got engaged in 2011, and married just a year later. They've truly been through a lot, including Lauren's mother battling Alzheimer's, and have formed Hilarity for charity to help support the cause. What they lack in time spent together they more than make up for with affection, as Rogan speaks about her dotingly even though she isn't quite the red carpet fixture he is. Number 7. Hugh Jackman and Deborah Lee Furness. A year after they met, this couple said, "I do," in 1996. Hugh Jackman has made millions of fans by showing off his body and his sweet singing and dancing, but his eye has never strayed, despite fawning females all around him. His secret? You love each other, and respect each other. You truly want to be together. Hugh Jackman has revealed the secret to his happy marriage with Deborah Lee Furness, and it is so simple. The Greatest Showman actor, who has been married for 23 years, revealed he and his wife made a pact before they had children together to safeguard their relationship. In an extract from the Fatherhood, Inspiration for the New Dad Generation, published by WHO magazine, Hugh wrote, "Before we had kids, Deb and I made a pretty simple but powerful choice to look each other in the eye at every crossroads in life. Those crossroads are sometimes big, sometimes they're small, sometimes you don't even realize they're crossroads until you look back." Number 8. Colin Firth and Livia Giugioli. In 1989, Firth began a relationship with Meg Tilly, his co-star in Valmont. They had a son in 1990. The family moved to the lower mainland of British Columbia, Canada. Firth's acting career slowed down until they broke up in 1994, and he returned to the UK in 1997. Firth married Italian producer's assistant Livia Giugioli. They have 2 sons. The family now live in both Chiswick, London, and Umbria, Italy. Firth was awarded an honorary degree on the 19th of October 2007 from the University of Winchester. On the 13th of January 2011, he was presented with the 2,429th star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. In April 2011, Time magazine included Firth in its list of the world's 100 most influential people. Firth was appointed Commander of the Order of the British Empire (CBE) in the 2011 Birthday Honours for services to drama, and made a Freeman of the City of London on the 8th of March 2012. The 1996 TV miniseries Nostromo brought them together, and they exchanged vows in 1997. Was she the secret to Colin's success? We'll never know for sure, but given the timing of their wedding and his stratospheric rise to the global A-list, all the signs point to yes. Number 9. Sacha Baron Cohen and Isla Fisher. The two met in 2002 but waited 8 years to get married, maybe because the Borat star never made life easy. "It's definitely not a normal relationship," Fisher said. "You know, there have been times in the past with the guerrilla-style filmmaking of Borat and Bruno where there were surreal conversations. How many people are suing us? Are you wanted in any states? Are you alive?" Now that Cohen isn't quite so much the pop culture fixture, things have certainly died down for them on that front, but I'm guessing that weird spark is still vital to their relationship. Number 10. Viola Davis and Julius Tenen. The two met in the early 2000s after Viola prayed for the right man to come into her life. Whether that did it or not, they married in 2003. Since then, we've seen a lot more of him. That's largely due to Viola's increased public presence and the frequency with which she appears at awards shows. Like any self-respecting A-list couple, they've got a production company together as well. Despite working hard toward a very successful career, Davis was not satisfied with her love life. In fact, she called herself the loneliest woman in the world. When a friend suggested that she pray to find her match, she did, asking for a big black man from the South who looked like a football player, who already had children, who maybe had been married before. Less than a month later, she met Julius Tenen. He was an actor and former football player, and he overheard Davis complaining about not knowing many people in Los Angeles, so he introduced himself. Davis shied away from him at first because she was embarrassed about her bad credit, not knowing that she would someday become a famous star worth millions. Number 11. Joel McHale and Sarah Williams. "You have to choose your spouse every day," McHale said about his marriage to Williams since 1996. "Tell yourself that this is the person that I love and want to be with. It has to be something that you do consciously, then it becomes subconscious." That's a surprisingly candid statement for a guy known more for his comedic exploits than his romance or drama acumen. I guess Sarah brings out a softer side of the guy. Number 12. Matt and Luciana Damon. Luciana Bazan Barroso was originally married to fellow Argentinian Arbelo Barroso until 2004. With how secretive Barroso is about her life, it remains a mystery exactly when they were married. They had a daughter, Alexia, before they divorced. Damon adopted Alexia after he and Luciana got married, and had 3 daughters of their own. Despite the divorce, Barroso and her ex-husband reportedly maintain a healthy relationship. In fact, in a rare interview, he praised Damon for being such a good stepfather. "I couldn't possibly have asked for a better stepfather for my daughter than Matt," he told Star in 2014. "He treats Alexia like she is his own flesh and blood. Matt has been an absolute blessing for my daughter." He even goes on to call his ex, Luciana, a terrific mom. Married in 2004, Damon doesn't feel qualified to give advice on marriage. "I think marriage is insane," he said. "It's a crazy idea, but I love being married to my wife. So I wouldn't tell anybody else anything about their relationship." Clearly, Mr. Damon doesn't think marriage is that insane if it's working out for him. If you wanted proof that love can make people do a big heel turn, here it is. Number 13. David and Victoria Beckham. Beckham began a relationship with Corey Haim in 1995, which ended on mutual terms. In early 1997, she started dating footballer David Beckham after they met at a charity football match. Prior to this, he had watched her music videos and commented to teammates that he was attracted to her, but had been overcome with shyness when they were first introduced. A few months earlier, Victoria had also expressed a wish to meet David during a Spice Girls football photo session. By chance, she wore the kit of his club Manchester United for the feature as the group's manager was a supporter. Of their initial meeting, she said, "I didn't really know who he was. I was never into football." The couple announced their engagement in 1998 and were dubbed Posh and Becks by the media. She collects handbags, and owns over 100 Birkin bags, made by Hermes, which are widely considered the most valuable and sought after, including a £100,000 shocking pink one, and worth a total of more than £1.5 million. These two met in 1997, spiced it up and tied the knot in 1999, and have 4 children together. "My husband constantly inspires me and guides me. He has done so much good work. I look up to him and have the utmost respect and admiration for all that he has achieved," Victoria said. Goal. The fact that these two have been able to make it work despite being the biggest celebs in the world should give hope to the rest of us. Number 14. Sarah Michelle Gellar and Freddie Prinze Jr. Gellar met her future husband Freddie Prinze Jr. while they were filming the 1997 teen horror film I Know What You Did Last Summer, but the two did not begin dating until 2000. They were engaged in April 2001 and married in Mexico on September 1, 2002, in a ceremony officiated by Adam Shankman, a director and choreographer with whom Gellar had worked on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Prinze and Gellar have worked together several times. They played each other's respective love interests as Fred and Daphne in the 2002 film Scooby-Doo and its sequel, Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed, and both provided their voices for the animated feature Happily Never After 2007 and the animated series Star Wars Rebels. In 2007, in honor of their 5th year of marriage, Gellar legally changed her name to Sarah Michelle Prinze. Together, Gellar and Prinze have 2 children, a daughter born in 2009 and a son born in 2012. The family lives in Los Angeles. Married in 2002, Gellar acknowledges that marriage is work. "You have to work at anything," she said. "It's any relationship in your life. You have to nurture it and take time with it." Something hints at the fact that it's not all work with these two. They got hitched young and have turned into grown-up parents. Something fun has to keep that behavior going. Number 15. Kevin Bacon and Kyra Sedgwick. These two crazy kids got married in 1988 and, on their 27th anniversary in 2015, Bacon took to Instagram to post, celebrating 9,855 days of marriage to Kyra Sedgwick, along with a photo of Kyra sitting on a park bench. "I know, cloyingly sweet. But counting the days doesn't seem quite as tedious when you're thinking back on all the awesomeness you've shared with someone." Sedgwick married actor Kevin Bacon on September 4, 1988. Sedgwick learned in 2011, via her appearance on the U.S. TV show Finding Your Roots with Henry Louis Gates, that she and Bacon are 9th cousins, once removed. The couple has 2 children, Travis Sedgwick Bacon, born June 23, 1989, and Sosie Ruth Bacon, born March 15, 1992. The family resides on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. Sedgwick and Bacon lost part of their savings in the Ponzi scheme of the infamous swindler Bernard Madoff. Number 16. Elton John and David Furnish. Furnish began a relationship with singer Elton John in 1993. John proposed to Furnish in May 2005 at a dinner party with friends and family at one of their homes in Old Windsor. Furnish and John entered into a civil partnership on the 21st of December 2005, the first day that civil partnerships could be performed in England, in the town of Windsor, Berkshire. Their first child, son Zachary Jackson Levon Furnish John, was born in December 2010 in California via surrogacy. In January 2013, the couple's second son, Elijah Joseph Daniel Furnish John, was born through the same surrogate. After same-sex marriage became legal in England and Wales in March 2014, John and Furnish retroactively converted their civil partnership into a marriage and marked the occasion with a ceremony in Windsor, Berkshire, on the 21st of December 2014, the 9th anniversary of their civil partnership. The singer and his partner became an item in 1993. In 2005, they entered a civil partnership recognized by England, and they are parents to Zachary, 4, and Elijah, 2, who share the same surrogate mother. The two remain active in social and medical charities now that Elton has ramped down his touring and partying schedule. Most notably, they're the brain trust behind Elton's eponymous AIDS Foundation. Number 17. Mark Wahlberg and Rhea Durham. These two married in 2009, and the actor has said the key to keeping his funky bunch together is spend quality time together. Really, that's what matters. With his work schedule, it's hard to imagine he has much time for anyone. Perhaps that's why private jets and cars are so important to celebs, they bring them back to their loved ones in a hurry. Rhea and actor Mark Wahlberg started a relationship in 2001 and have 4 children, daughters Ella Ray B. 2003, and Grace Margaret B. 2010, and sons Michael B. 2006, and Brendan Joseph B. 2008. In 2009, she converted to Catholicism from Baptist Protestantism, having received the sacraments of initiation. Wahlberg and Durham married on August 1, 2009 in a private Catholic ceremony in Beverly Hills, California. Number 18. Beyoncé and Jay-Z. The couple Beyoncé and Jay-Z is one of the strongest couples in the world of stars. Something rare when you know the temptations that reign in this world. The occasion then to return on this idyll of 15 years between Beyoncé and Jay-Z, which led to a marriage and 3 beautiful children. Beyoncé first became known with her group Destiny's Child when she was not even 20 years old. Jay-Z is 30 years old and already the rapper we know. It was during a studio recording in 1999 that the rapper spotted the future Queen Bee. Queen Bee has said their relationship started in either 1999 or 2000 when she was just 19, but they took their time and didn't get married until 2008. Because, wait for it, Jay-Z liked it so he put a ring on it. Though there have been all sorts of rumors surrounding the two, they've got 3 kids and seem to be doing just fine, haters be damned. I guess having charmed lives can help weather the publicity storm. Number 19. Julia Roberts and Danny Moder. This pretty woman met the cameraman on the set of The Mexican in 2000 and they made it official in 2002. They have 3 kids together, and Roberts has said he is her safe place. Julia isn't quite America's sweetheart anymore, but something tells me she's happy to retire that designation to spend more time with the love of her life. The actress in the Homecoming series tells us about her 16-year-old husband, Danny Moder, their children and old age in a straightforward interview with Gwyneth Paltrow for the latest episode of his podcast Goop. Roberts married the filmmaker in July 2002 and had 3 children with him: Phineas Moder, 13, Hazel Moder, 13, and Henry Daniel Moder, 11. During this interview with Paltrow, Roberts said that her life changed dramatically as soon as she met Moder. I think the first real, seismic upheaval was when I met and married Danny, Roberts told Paltrow. This is the first time I've told myself that my life would never be the same again, that it would change in the most incredible and indescribable way possible. Number 20. Oprah Winfrey and Stedman Graham. And you get a ring. And you get a ring. Okay, maybe not a ring, but this couple has been together more than 30 years and were engaged in 1992 after being together for 6 years. Why no wedding? I don't want to be married because I could not have the life that I created for myself, she said. Add Oprah to the list of celebs who believes in love, but not marriage. Graham was the constant companion of WFLD TV anchor Robin Robinson from 1982 to 1986. Graham has been the subject of much publicity since 1986, most notably through tabloid articles claiming to chronicle his ongoing relationship with Oprah Winfrey. Graham has been with Winfrey since 1988. He was conferred an honorary degree by Notre Dame de Namur University of Belmont, California, at the university's 167th commencement ceremony on May 4, 2019. See you next video. Good luck and have a nice time.
Hello family. We are going to proceed to a topic concerning the countries where you can live very happy. So thank you for subscribing to our channel, and if you like the video, don't forget to like and share it. Let's go. Each year, the United Nations Sustainable Development Solutions Network publishes the World Happiness Report, a ranking of the countries in which people are happiest. For this study, 7 points are studied in 156 countries: compassion, freedom, generosity, honesty, health, social protections and good governance. France the 24th place in 2020. In 2016, Denmark took first place in the ranking. In 2017 it was Norway, and Finland in 2018. Do you know the country where we live the happiest in 2019? Get ready to set sail for the far north. El Dorado. Australia. The endless expanses, unspoiled natural landscapes and the unique fauna of this continent make many travelers dream. Its big cities like Sydney or Melbourne are attracting more and more expatriates who see it as a true El Dorado on the other side of the world. And it is clear that they are right, since Australia climbs to 10th place in the ranking of the countries where the inhabitants are the happiest. Scandinavian sweetness. Sweden. Swedes have one of the best life expectancies in Europe as well as one of the highest GDP per capita. These two important criteria allow them to be counted among the happiest citizens in the world. The influence of the capital, Stockholm, is also very great. For example, the city was voted the first green capital in Europe thanks to its many environmental initiatives such as the reduction of its CO2 emissions. Treasure of the Pacific. New Zealand. New Zealand is one of the most naturally preserved countries in the world. White sand beaches rub shoulders with mountains with eternal snows and lush forests, in an incredible setting shaped by the Pacific. Who wouldn't dream of putting down their suitcases there? All the more so as New Zealand has climbed to 8th place in the ranking of the countries where we live the happiest. The real American dream. Canada. It is the only country in the Americas to lead the rankings. With a GDP ranked among the 10 highest in the world, Canadians live long and happy lives since their life expectancy is among the best. Canada, a country with many facets, French or English, has all the qualities to lead a serene life, in the heart of pampered nature, and close to large cities that are still dynamic such as Vancouver or Quebec. Bicycle happiness. The Netherlands. An open and tolerant policy, ecological cities where it is good to travel by bike like Maastricht, Rotterdam or beautiful Amsterdam. This is the recipe for Dutch happiness. It is in the capital of the Netherlands that one takes the pulse of the country, during the days pedaling along the canals or during its frenzied evenings. And it is not the capricious weather that will prevent the Dutch from being among the happiest in the world. Life in green. Switzerland. In view of its different specialties, we quickly understand why Switzerland can be considered the land of happiness. Chocolate, fondue and Gruyère act on morale on a daily basis. Its environment also contributes to the well-being of its inhabitants. Cities on a human scale, Lausanne, Geneva. Mountain pastures, lakes and thermal baths are part of the decor. Living in Switzerland means breathing the fresh air and going green in a country where ecology is one of the priorities. In the land of fjords. Iceland. The cold does not seem to be a barrier to happiness since Icelanders are the 4th happiest population in the world. Young and dynamic, Iceland attracts many expatriates who come to discover the far north every year. 10% of the island is covered with ice and there is the largest glacier in Europe, the Vatnajökull. Mother Nature opens her arms here, and her landscapes, as spectacular as they are unexpected, bear witness to the strength of its elements. Land of Hygge. Denmark. Do you know what hygge is? This way of life straight from Denmark is one of the main reasons for the happiness of the inhabitants. Very Epicureans, the Danes cultivate the art of having fun on a daily basis. Hygge is a state of mind based on optimism, friendliness and reassurance. During the coldest days of the year, we create a sweet cocoon at home where sweets, hot drinks and blankets hold a primordial place. And that is very hygge. Everyday well-being. Norway. Ranked first in 2017, Norway is this year in 2nd place. How to explain this happiness which seems to animate the Norwegians? Economic prosperity, of course. But more than that, it is also the feeling of security that reassures them. Social security here is irreproachable, and education completely free. More than the state, nature even seems to cajole them by illuminating its sky with the northern lights or the midnight sun. A Nordic paradise. Finland. It is no surprise that we find a Nordic country at the top of the podium. Finland offers serenity and security to its inhabitants. It stands out from the rest of the ranking nations, in particular from the point of view of the happiness of immigrants who consider their standard of living as good as that of the Finns. With freedom of expression respected and equality between all inhabitants, Finland is establishing itself as the country of happiness this year.